Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some big news coming out from Lebanon to share with you. We're going to be talking about Hezbollah and also the IDF a little bit, Israel, and this potential war that could be breaking out. We've been talking a lot about this lately, and I've got another update and some information I want to go over here with you. So, we've got reports that thousands of fighters from Iran-backed groups throughout the Middle East are ready to join Hezbollah in this fight against Israel. So this is not just going to be Hezbollah fighting against Israel anymore. This is potentially thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands more fighters from other groups in the Middle East. Could be like Kataib Hezbollah, many other groups that are like in Syria or Iraq. Okay, they've been calling on Israel, no, Hezbollah, excuse me, and telling them that if they need their help, they're willing to send their fighters over there. I think even the Taliban in Afghanistan is willing to go over there as well and fight on behalf of Hezbollah. So this is really, really huge. And I've reported as well that the U.S. has already said they'll get involved in this fight. Okay, if this happens to break out into a war, the United States is ready to back Israel in a full front offensive against Hezbollah. So, I've got lots of information to be discussing here with you today, but primarily we're going to be talking about these fighters from other countries that are Iran backed that could potentially join Hezbollah in this fight. So, I've got an article here pulled up for you. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this today. This is on the New York Post. Hezbollah could welcome thousands of Iran backed fighters to Lebanon if all out war breaks out with Israel. So, this just got published today. Thousands of fighters from Iran-backed groups in the Middle East are ready to come to Lebanon to join the militant Hezbollah group in its battle with Israel if the simmering conflict escalates into a full-blown war. Officials with Iran-backed factions and analysts say, excuse me, almost daily exchanges of fire have occurred along Lebanon's frontier with northern Israel since fighters from Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip staged a bloody assault on southern Israel in early October that set off the war in Gaza. The situation to the north worsened this month after an Israeli airstrike killed a senior Hezbollah military commander in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah retaliated by firing hundreds of rockets and explosive drones into northern Israel. So this just happened recently. I want to say like in the last week or so that I reported that. There was a major Hezbollah military commander that got taken out. And, Israel has done this to so many commanders on the Hamas side, on the Hezbollah side in southern Lebanon. They have bombed so many buildings, cars, everything inside of Lebanon, particularly taking out multiple high-ranking officials or commanders in the Hezbollah organization. And this is primarily why this war really started to pick up. After that happened, that's when Hezbollah started firing tons and tons of rockets into Israel. That we had massive fires just in the last week or two over there as well. Israel's been getting hit like crazy lately, and this war is really starting to kick off. It says here, Israeli officials have threatened a military offensive in Lebanon if there is no negotiated end to push Hezbollah away from the border. Over the past decade, Iran-backed fighters from Lebanon, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan fought together in Syria's 13-year conflict, helping tip the balance in favor of Syrian President Bashar Assad. Officials from Iran-backed groups say they could also join together against Israel. So there's just multiple groups here that could be joining. We're talking hundreds of thousands more fighters potentially. Considering that Hezbollah alone, they've already said that they've got well over 100,000 fighters. They don't really need the help. But could they need more help at some point? Possibly. Could this war spill over into other countries, like let's say Syria, for example? Yeah, very possible this could happen too. And then I'm sure even Jordan is a little worried about this too, because they're right next to Israel. They could get caught up in this as well. And they actually backed Israel during that attack whenever Iran launched all those drones and missiles into their territory. Was that back in April or something like that? Whenever that happened, I reported on all that information. And Jordan actually helped out protect Israel during that time. So it says here, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said in a speech Wednesday that militant leaders from Iran, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and other countries have previously offered to send tens of thousands of fighters to help Hezbollah, but he said the group already has more than 100,000 fighters. Yemen was another big one too. The Yemen Houthis were saying they had like 400,000 fighters that they could send. So, we're talking upwards of 500,000, maybe even upwards of 1 million troops. Who knows if all these groups get involved. We told them thank you, but we were overwhelmed by the numbers we have, Nasrallah said. Nasrallah said the battle in its current form is only using a portion of Hezbollah's manpower, an apparent reference to the specialized fighters who fire missiles and drones. Says here, but that could change in the event of an all-out war. Nasrallah hinted at the possibility in a speech in 2017 in which he said fighters from Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Pakistan will be partners of such a war. Officials from Lebanese and Iraqi groups backed by Iran say Iran-backed fighters from around the region will join if war erupts on the Lebanon-Israel border. Thousands of such fighters are already deployed in Syria and could easily slip through the porous and unmarked border. Some of the groups have already staged attacks on Israel and its allies since Israel-Hamas war started on October 7th. The groups from the so-called Axis of Resistance say they are using a unity of arena strategy and they will only stop the fighting when Israel ends its offensive in Gaza against their ally Hamas. We will be fighting shoulder to shoulder with Hezbollah if an all-out war breaks out, one official with the Iran-backed group in Iraq told the Associated Press in Baghdad, insisting on speaking anonymously to discuss military matters. He refused to give further details. The official, along with another from Iraq, said some advisors from Iraq are already in Lebanon. An official with the Lebanese Iran-backed group, also insisting on anonymity, said fighters from Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces, Afghanistan's Fatimiyun, Pakistan Zainabiyun, and the Iran-backed rebel group in Yemen known as the Houthis could come to Lebanon to take part in the war. Wouldn't surprise me if some of these groups have already some fighters there. Most likely that could be the case already. Qasim Qasir, an expert on Hezbollah, agreed the current fighting is mostly based on high technology such as firing missiles and does not need a large number of fighters. But if a war broke out and lasted for a long period, Hezbollah might need support from outside Lebanon, he said. Hinting to this matter could be a message that these are the cards that could be used, he said. Israel is also aware of possible influx of foreign fighters. So I'm going to cite this down below. You guys can read some more of this if you want to. There's obviously a lot of information here in this article. Primarily just wanted to talk about these fighters that could be coming from other countries like Syria, Iraq. We've even talked about Iran as well, that Iran has already told Hezbollah they're willing to help them out and get involved directly if need be. I think Iran would probably be one of the last to get involved here if Lebanon really needed the help. I think these other fighters would be more than enough to really help them here. But, you know, the IDF is going to have their hands tied completely here in this war if this really breaks out, especially if Hezbollah calls on all these fighters to come and back them. You know, we're talking upwards of 500,000 or more troops that could potentially get involved here, depending on which countries decide to send fighters and which ones don't. And, you know, some of these countries are on different sides of Israel's border as well, like the Yemen Houthis. They're down in the south. So if they were to attack, I would think they'd come from the south side, or I don't know where they would head to try to help Lebanon. But, you know, obviously what we're seeing here is major escalation in this war between Israel and Hezbollah. Hopefully it does not turn into a world conflict over here, or at least a regional conflict, excuse me. But the big players here like Iran, if Iran were to get involved, this could definitely turn into World War III, considering the fact that the United States is going to be involved in this war too. And it's just absolutely insane to me that the United States is willing to be involved here. But that shows how ironclad their support is for Israel, okay? They're willing to go to the end with Israel here and defend them in this fight against Hezbollah and potentially more of these Iran-backed fighters and maybe even Iran themselves. Okay, so very crazy news. I just wanted to dive into this deeper and show this to you today. I've been talking about this for the last couple of days, kind of bringing it up here and there, but I wanted to bring you more information to show you how serious these groups are about joining this effort and this fight against Israel. So that's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.